Hi, my name is Luke Allen, president of OHD, and I'm here today with Booth Armstrong, our national sales manager. Today we're coming with another edition of Facts in Fit Testing, and today we're going to be talking about operational differences between recognized fit testing methods or technologies. And really specifically, we're going to be talking about environmental requirements for those different technologies. So Booth, we're going to jump straight into our first technology, which is the ambient aerosol method, or CNC method.
Yep, absolutely. So your ambient aerosol method, to give you a quick introduction to that, you're going to challenge the fit of a respirator by calculating the particles inside of a respirator compared to the particles outside of a respirator. You're going to walk through a several-step process where it will continuously monitor that ratio. If particles penetrate the mask, during that process, it's obviously not a good fitting respirator. If particles don't penetrate the mask, that's a good fitting respirator. And that's going to be the first recognized technology that we look at today. Now, when it comes to environmental dependency of that technology, one of the first things that you're going to want to start with is the particle count required in the ambient air to run the device effectively. So what we'll do right now is we'll pull up the HSE standard, which is a regulatory body based out of the UK, and you'll see that if you're going to be testing a half-face respirator, you need to have 3,000 particles per cc. And if you're testing a full-face respirator, you have to have 10,000 particles per cc in the ambient air. You have to have a threshold of particles in the air to effectively challenge the respirator's fit and integrity. So that's going to be where you start with an environmental requirement on the ambient aerosol technology. Now, if you don't have those levels of particles in the air, then you may have to generate particles. What's that look a little like?
Yeah, so that's going to be what you probably have seen in fit testing, because there's room requirements that go into running an ambient aerosol instrument in the field. So in the real world, what you've probably seen are particle generation methods like this. So a candle, you can buy expensive particle generators that actually generate those atmospheres. But here's what we found that a lot of people don't know is that, and we'll pull up kind of a leading excerpt from a user manual here on your screen. What most people are not aware of is that you just don't light a candle and generate particles. There's specific requirements in order to run that equipment the right way. The first one is that whatever device you're using or instrument you're using to generate particles, it has to be at least 6 feet away. And the reason for that is because if you're generating particles right on top of the instrument and right on top of the tube that is measuring the ambient particulate amount, you're going to drive that ambient number up so high that you're going to skew fit test results. So you're going to pass people potentially that have potential leaks that you're not seeing because you've driven that particle count up so high. So that's a big thing. The other thing is the requirement of the room size. So again, you can't just be in any room, and you definitely can't be outside. You have to be in a specific room with a specific setup. They really recommend that you block off air intakes or different movements of air through the room, close doors. So environmental requirements are much broader than just generate particles, and we find that to be something that people don't fully understand, and we thought it was important to cover that today.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're looking at your ambient aerosol, you've got to have a threshold of particles in the air. If you don't, you've got to generate those particles. There's, like Luke said, there's a lot of stipulations on how that works. There are other environmental impacts that you want to consider as well, like if someone is a cigarette smoker and they have particulates in their lungs, or they've recently smoked a cigarette, that can affect their ability to test properly, because the particulates in their lungs will affect the ambient aerosols technology's ability to accurately challenge the fit and integrity of that respirator. Mints, gum, food can also create an environmental impact on an ambient aerosol test. We can also pull up another excerpt of one of your ambient aerosol user manuals right here, and it will give you a little rundown on starting a fit test too soon. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
So you just mentioned about smokers and other things like that. There's a particle purge that is required, and again, most users don't really understand this fully. So there's a comfort assessment time with fit testing, but that's not the same thing. So a particle purge time that's required is to allow someone in an ambient aerosol instrument to get in the mask, have the filter, be connected up to a machine, or have some way of blocking the port off to purge the mask of particles, which takes breathing and time.
Yep.
OSHA requires a 5-minute time. It's in the user manuals that you see on your screen that's pulled up. So that's a pivotal and important part, to purge the mask of particles to make sure that you're ready before you start a fit test. And that's part of requirements to operate the machines the right way. So it's a big environmental requirement as we see it in fit testing. So that's ambient aerosol. Really quickly, let's talk about what are, if any, are there on controlled negative pressure, the other technology.
Yeah, so the other widely recognized technology is a technology called controlled negative pressure. It's patented by OHD and utilized by the QuantiFit to do its quantitative respiratory mask fit test. And one of the neat things about the QuantiFit technology, the controlled negative pressure, is it doesn't have any environmental requirements. Not only do you not have to have any threshold of ambient particles, you never have to concern yourself with generating any type of particles. You don't have to concern yourself with the area you're in, which is a huge advantage in today's market, with being able to be in an open area, even outdoors, to do fit testing.
Right.
And then finally, it doesn't have any stipulations or things that you need to consider regarding the test subject entering into the testing process, whether they have any like particles or smoked or eaten or anything like that. All of those concerns and things that you have to consider when doing an ambient aerosol test, you literally don't consider any of that doing a negative pressure test.
Yeah, so we eliminate even the purge time that we just talked about, that again a lot of people don't know about, and the smoker concern, which you just mentioned. So what we would like you to do next, or check out an on-site demonstration, check out some of our other videos to look at the two technologies. But environmental requirements is a big part of fit testing, and you really need to have a good grasp of that. Thanks for joining us today on Facts in Fit Testing.